Hello, my name is Drew Brown. This is Fahrney's pens. This is a bit of a trilogy, not a video trilogy, a pen trilogy. The Platinum Preppy, the Plaisir, and the Prefounte are kind of a trilogy, in my opinion. One came, actually, well, it's a complicated trilogy. We'll get into that. But I just wanted to talk about these three pens because they're all solid entries in the Platinum library. They're all excellently regarded entry-level pens, and they're worth chatting about because they do have some differences. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first. We've got the $7 Platinum Preppy. Now this pen you probably know about. You should know about it. And if you don't, then yay! This video has done its job already, less than a minute in, and I have succeeded. You should know about the Preppy. It's one of, if not the most prevalent starter pens out there. I mean, you've got the Lamy Safari, the Pilot Metro, the TWSBI Eco, you know, you've got a bunch out there. But this one has been going strong for so long. This is it. These are the Preppies. And as you can see, it comes in a bunch of different colors. And if you look at the top, you'll see numbers that indicate several different nib sizes as well. 3 to be exact. You've got the 5 here representing a medium, a 3 here representing a fine, and then every now and then you'll see a 2 representing an extra fine. The whole barrel now is a particular color rather than just, you know, a couple little highlights. And the writing is greatly diminished as well. It used to have writing all over this thing. They've really kind of brought that down. One other new feature that they've added, you know, not like new, but I mean, these things have seen several versions of themselves. They've got now colored feed units. That's this part right there below the nib, between the nib and the barrel. So this is a piece that's normally obscured in most fountain pens because the grip section is usually opaque. But here on the Preppy, you can see it very clearly, which leads to some confusion a lot of the times because, as I said, these are not made for beginners, but they're made for accessibility. That's what I really should be saying. And accessibility can mean anybody, but a lot of the time it does mean starters, beginners, people jumping into the foray. And when they see, actually, we'll give it a shot. When they see ink fill up this feed, they think that there's something wrong because it's very visual. It doesn't look good. It looks like ink is going places it shouldn't go to. And it kind of reminds you that a fountain pen is just a controlled leak, right? It is just kind of a little wild, but the feed and the nib regulate it effectively. And it really is beautiful in how it works. It's kind of miraculous how it works. So let's take one of these. Let's take the clear. And we'll go ahead and give it a shot. We will go ahead and just use it as though we're a new user. And we've got our cartridge here. It is just black. I will say that the Platinum cartridge here is very rigid. It's very tough, very durable, and it has a metal ball bearing there that once punctured will act as an agitator for the ink inside. So a little bit of a bonus. As far as I know, it's the only one that does that, but there's probably more. So I'm going to go ahead and puncture this right now. You'll see that there's a post down in there. That is what is going to puncture this metal ball bearing. Drop those. And then you'll see ink just start moving right into the feed. So I'm going to give it a little bit of force, and then boom, and there it is. Ink just instantly flooded the feed. And again, folks sometimes see that and they get a little freaked out. But it's normal. This is what you want. This is good. This is happy times. Oh, you know what? Another really, really great reason to pick the clear is to show you this awesome thing in the cap here. And again, $7 for this. Keep this in mind. All the manufacturing goes into this, $7. You can see that there is a spring going from the top of the cap to this little sort of conical cup. And that, you should probably, can I reach? No, I can't. All right, so if I'm going to be capping this, you'll see that right there where the front of the grip section meets this little notch of the cup, you see the spring compress. and then it clicks in place. So what that spring does is constantly puts pressure on this cup to seal the grip section of your pen. So these stay ready to write, inky, ready to go, not drying out for a very long time. Most of the time, Platinum refers to this system as the slip and seal system. They're most famous for doing this. It does exist in other brands. They don't call it slip and seal, but the concept is the same and the functionality. No matter who does it though, it's helpful and it works. And what the inside of the cap does for the fountain pen, for your ability to write consistently and reliably, is overlooked, but so super important. That means everything. Your pen can be amazing, your nib can be great, you could be in love with the aesthetics, but if you cap it, put it down, and then you come back, and it's just saying, nope, I worked for you last time, but I'm done. What good is that? These don't do that. But let's take a look here. Oh my gosh. I did nothing. I did not have to tap or shake or anything. It just went. And again, I'm kind of just nerding out about this pen for a little bit because $7. I've got a clear, reliably, it's not indestructible, but enough, Japanese-made nib, and it just works. And it's going to continue to work because of this cap. I like that. So we've got Platinum Black in here. I mean, it's not the smoothest thing in the world, but it is not scratchy. You can hear it, but I can go in every direction and I'm not getting like any sort of grindiness. If you get really fast and like rotate, you can start getting some funkiness, but just doing normal stuff, it feels fantastic. And again, $7. So that's the Preppy. Let's get into, remember, we're talking about a trilogy here. And so the next movie to come out in this trilogy was the Plaisir. So Plaisir, 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 Plaisir. I dropped one, and I probably hit my mic several times. The green one is my favorite. Colored aluminum is gorgeous. There are a lot of pens that, There are a lot of pens that do colored aluminum and do it really well. It looks good, it works. $17.60. Pretty good. Now this is, $10+ more than the first movie that came out, but we're gonna just talk about whether or not it's worth it. The first thing I wanna talk about is that compared to the Preppy, which is great by the way, if you wanna get somebody started, getting this as a gift is not a bad idea, and you're not gonna be out a lot of money. I'm not going to shut up about that, I'm sorry, it's $7. This one though, much more gifty in terms of its aesthetic value here. You've got a lovely little package. 1 year no dry, slip seal. 1 year. And you know what's crazy? I've heard that is true. I've talked to people. In fact, this pen, I'll come right out and say it, I used to not like this pen. I thought that for the price, why? Why bother? But I have talked to so many people about this nib in particular, like, hey, Preppy, Plaisir, Prefounte, very reliable. But there have been more people that have told me amazing stories about the Plaisir that I've completely changed my tune on it. So we've got the same sort of system in here. You're not gonna be able to see it, but it is in there. You've got a large metal band here, also aluminum, and you've got a solid aluminum clip there. This has changed a little bit. These used to have like a little strip of color in the middle of them, which was fine. This looks better though. And it posts just fine. Wonderful, delightful balance here. That is gonna bother me. You can't do that. That needs to be on that side. There we go, better. And then the nib is the exact same nib that is on the Preppy. And what you're paying for is the body. You're not getting anything new in terms of writing experience. You're getting something in terms of durability and aesthetics. Like obviously, there's a big difference between the two of these just looking at them. This one looks like somewhat of a disposable pen, which it's not, but the durability is a huge thing. I've spoken to some folks that have had some serious durability stories about the Plaisir and how it has persevered through some truly harrowing circumstances and come out just fine on the other end. In fact, I want to say that I saw somebody at a pen show one year who showed me theirs, or at least showed me a picture of theirs, and this thing was not in good shape, but it wrote just fine. So I do think they're worth it now. I really do. So I've changed my tune on the Plaisir. I think that you should consider them. The colors are as follows. I will say that the Plaisir does not have, to my knowledge, an extra fine option. That is only available on the Preppy thus far. But the great thing is, it's only $7, Drew? Yes. But the great thing is, almost any nib anywhere, even a steel replacement nib, is going to be more than $7. Like even a Lamy Safari, if you want to buy a replacement nib for that, you're going to be over $7. So buying an extra fine Preppy to put the nib on your Plaisir, it's not crazy. There we go. So far we have done episode 1 and episode 2. However, sometimes movies and chronological releases get a little confused. Star Wars has taught us that. So in between these two movies, they released this one, which isn't really a third movie, I don't think, because the price is in between these two. So the Prefounte is coming up next at $11. So in my opinion, it's the second film in the franchise. So like the Plaisir, it comes in plastic case here. I'm going to open this green one. Yes, we're going to do green and green. And we've got our nib size there. This one's a medium. Blue black ink, which is interesting. 1 year no dry. So you'll see that it is more or less the same barrel as the Preppy. They are interchangeable. Hooray for that. So essentially the Preppy and the Prefounte are the same pen, but with different caps. The Preppy has quite large language here. The Plaisir, totally clean. So definitely more polished looking for sure. And then the cap is different. You've got a metal clip. It's a very thin clip, a little sharp feeling on the side there, but it definitely steps up the look. So this one at $11, the Preppy at $7, and then over here at $17.60, you've got the Plaisir. So do we feel like the increments are fair? I don't know. It's just down to looks and then durability when you take into account the Plaisir, the Plaisir here, which we haven't yet written with. How do we got going here? Is it ready to go? Yeah, it's ready to go. Just sat for a few minutes and he is ready. Plaisir. Boom. All right, one last puncture for us today on today's video. Boom. Oh, that's very blue. So this is actually something I did not know. I did not know that the Prefounte came with a different color cartridge. Here we go. So we have checked out the Platinum Trilogy. We started off with the first launch, the incomparable Platinum Preppy, and then they launched the Plaisir in aluminum. And then in between them, the Prefounte came out. Which of these three do you think gives you the best bang for your buck? So 7, 11, 1760. Gap between here, are we thinking this is the best bang for our buck? Or do we just think that this is leaps and bounds better than either of these two? And if you're gonna buy something with, solid, reliable writing experience, why not buy something with a solid, reliable body as well? I get that. I can see the argument there. I don't know. I really don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts because I think that I could probably just argue with myself all day if left to my own devices there. So I won't do that because this video has already been long enough. Anyway, talk to you later. I'm Drew. You're you. Bye-bye.